the term gross profit is completely different than net profit. There are so many business models that you guys can succeed from, whether you do a franchise or a personal brand agency. It really doesn't matter. What matters the most is that you're picking a business that you feel that aligns with your skill sets and your natural God-given abilities.
I spent the last 30 days analyzing thousands of businesses, and these are the best businesses to start in 2025. As Warren Buffett.
Okay, if you guys aren't familiar with Dan Martell, that's Dan Martell. So he's exited multiple tech companies. He's an angel investor, just an incredibly successful entrepreneur. As you can see, he wrote the book Buy Back Your Time, which is a book that I've read, and I've used that book and the principles in that book as a CEO of Franchise Empire to go from 2 employees just at the beginning of the year to over 10 employees now. So very curious to what he's going to talk about, what these high income businesses are. I'm sure you're probably curious too. So let's take a listen.
Great businesses have good gross margins. What are gross margins? Well, if I sell a coffee for $5 and it costs me $1 to make it, my gross margin is $4 or 80%. So I'm going to go through the most profitable businesses with the highest gross margins that you can start today.
So another way that people describe this is gross profit margin, right? So we'll talk about their gross profit. What I've learned is that a lot of people do not understand the different numbers in businesses. So they don't understand that the term gross profit is completely different than net profit. Your gross profit is generally only factoring in your COGS, your cost of goods sold. So we can talk more about it as we dive into this video if he keeps talking about numbers, but ultimately it doesn't matter what business you start. If you don't know your numbers and if you can't properly produce good enough margins to stay in business, it really doesn't matter what the business is.
Starting with idea number 1, chat sales agency. Gross margins for this business are around 40 to 50%. Here's the deal. It's the future. 2025, chat sales are on the rise. I have clients making over $1 million over chat. No sales call, no funnel, sales chat only. My top sales guy in commission makes over $1 million a year selling over chat. Here's how not to mess it up. First thing is you have to find a growing industry. If you haven't heard, roofing, solar, consulting, these are all massively growing and expanding industries. The easiest way to do this is search fastest growing industries on ChatGPT or Google and get into those industries. But there's more to it. Second part is you got to tap into demand.
All right, so just to hit on that real quick, growing industry is super important. And a way that I like to think about this is the famous phrase, a rising tide lifts all boats. Either you can be fighting the tide in business or you can be going with the tide. And when the tide's rising, all the boats that are in the water are going to benefit. So the point that really he's making there is to get in the water, to get in the game, because if you're in the game in the right industry, even if you suck at business, you're still probably going to do pretty well. Just like during COVID, the stock market was just on a tear. So everyone thought they were the greatest investor since sliced bread. Turned out after the boom of all stocks going up, people realized that, I'm not actually as good of an investor as I thought I was.
If you're going to start finding clients that you can do this for, you have to find people that already have built their audience, not somebody that's starting with zero. Existing audiences only. Find people with massive followership. It's crazy, but some people with massive Instagram accounts or massive social media accounts have never talked to all of their followers because they don't have anybody to do it or know how to do it right. And you could be the person to get money to flow into their pockets. The third is you got to connect to a CRM. The only way you can manage massive volumes of chats is with a CRM tool, some kind of platform that allows you to connect all the social media accounts and manage those chats. Our team uses a product called Revio, and it's awesome. Not only does it integrate all the different social channels for us, it even uses AI to summarize the chat. So if one of my reps come back to a chat, they haven't talked to somebody in a while, it lets them know where to start the conversation from based on what they've already said, which brings us to idea number 2.
Got it. So, chat sales agency, that's pretty interesting, pretty niche. You better be really good at tech overall and basically it's a sales gig. I mean, calling it an agency, that's pretty interesting if people are gonna outsource to you, but a lot of business owners, I don't know, they probably are gonna want to hire like in-house people. I don't know, but seems like an interesting opportunity. And talking about CRMs, my goodness, we recently switched to HubSpot, which is incredible, but stupidly expensive, by the way. I think we're paying almost $3,000 a month for HubSpot, which is wild, but it has some pretty cool features to it. See, having a good CRM is very, very key to work smarter and not harder, or both. Why can't you just do both? Work smart and hard.
2, personal brand agency. This business model also has gross margins between 40 and 50%. You've probably heard this said, but attention is the new oil. The future of commerce is built off the back end of trust, of personal brands, of influencers. We've seen this. All the top companies in the world are rushing to become media companies because they know that the real distribution or the real sales channel is the trust that an influencer has with their audience. So being the agency that helps people connect those two dots will make you a lot of money. What's crazy is that I personally know dozens of people that make multiple 7 figures helping people expand, define, and grow their personal brands. Now, here's what they focus on to make the most money for their agency. The first one is pay for performance. You want to get paid for the results that you bring to these people. If you're helping them take their followers from 8,000 to 80,000 or 800,000, you want to get paid a retainer plus the upside in that growth, especially if you help them make more money. The second part is you want to double down on winners. See, the truth is that everybody might want to be a personal brand, but not everybody has it. I've seen so many people try to create content and it falls flat. They don't got the it factor. They're not willing to share their heart. They're not sharing anything new. And if you are building an agency off those people, you're going to have to cut your losses as fast as possible. The third part is you want to ask for referrals. The best agencies are grown off of VWOM, which stands for viral word of mouth. And you want to ask them, only after you got them a big win, if there's anybody else that they know and like that you might be able to help them with your agency to help grow their personal brand. Which brings us to idea number.
So like that is one where I feel like the barrier to entry could be a little bit tricky, right? Because it's like if you come to me, I mean, I have a personal brand. We have our Franchise Empire brand as well. If you come to me and say, hey, I want to help you grow your brand, well, my question is going to be, what have you done? Like, what results have you produced? If you haven't produced any results in helping other people, then we're not even going to have a conversation. And by the way, I get hit up by these people all the time. Can I help you get customers? Can I help you get clients? And we have that handled in house. So I don't mean to sound like a hater on these 2 first opportunities, but I think they're highly competitive and pretty challenging unless you're really savvy, tech oriented, and have produced some results. They're hard to get into overall. That's why, like at Franchise Empire, a lot of the businesses that we help people acquire are service-based businesses, right? So you're looking at senior care businesses, fire and water restoration companies, painting companies, all those different things, which are core services that people need. And then the cool part about that is that you don't have to have the experience. You're leveraging the brand of the franchisor. They've already figured out all the systems for the business, and you're just plugging and playing into the model overall. And the franchisor is actually teaching you the specifics of the business and how to run it. But, you know, at the end of the day, there are so many business models that you guys can succeed from, whether you do a franchise or a personal brand agency. It really doesn't matter. What matters the most is that you're picking a business that you feel that aligns with your skill sets and your natural God-given abilities. Where individuals get in trouble is when they are picking businesses that do not align with their skill sets, right? So if you are terrified to talk to people and you're not good at sales, then you probably shouldn't start a chat sales agency, right? All right, let's jump to the next one. Curious, I can see already that it says ghostwriting agency.
Number 3, ghostwriting agency, which has gross margins between 50 and 60%. There's a supply and demand problem with writers right now. Everybody wants to write a book, but no one wants to write it. They need ghostwriters. Same thing with content. Right now, if you're somebody that can figure out somebody's voice and write in their voice to help them buy back their time, it is a beautiful agency to start. So here's the key things to not mess up if you're doing ghostwriting agency. The first one is to get paid up front. When you start doing this agency, you need to get at least 50% up front. If you've got multiple projects on the go, try to get lump sums of payment up front so that you can fund your growth. The second thing you need to do right is you have to get on stages where other people that want to write books are in those audiences. So if you want to write entrepreneurial books or other types, you want to get in rooms of entrepreneurs. You want to get on podcasts of entrepreneurs. You want to get in front of these people that have built-in audiences. I call it OPP, other people's platforms. So try to speak in front of large groups of people, explaining your process for ghostwriting so that you can create demand for what you have to sell. So number 3 is get familiar amongst a niche audience. So you want to be the go-to person in your agency for, let's say, marketing entrepreneurs, or maybe sales entrepreneurs, or maybe operationally focused entrepreneurs. You want to write the top books in that niche so that everybody that thinks about writing that book, when they go ask who wrote that book, they'll recommend you as a ghostwriting agency. Which brings us to idea number.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. I mean, as a business that we produce a lot of content, we write a lot of emails, we write a lot of social content, we create a lot of video content. I mean, we have people on our team that do this. I mean, we have a full-time director of marketing. We have a social media brand manager, but there's definitely a lot of value in this. And I can tell you a lot of people that are online, they need help with this stuff. I actually just hired a company for a significant amount of money. Actually, I'm paying a company $50,000 to help me write a book. I'm writing a book about franchising that I think is going to be really interesting. So stay tuned. Part of what they do is part of it is ghostwriting based on a process that I go through and the content that I share with them overall. But that's a lot of money, guys.
Virtual assistant placement with gross margins between 50 and 60%. When I wrote my book, Buy Back Your Time, tons of these agencies started popping up. It was almost like my book became their full-time salesperson. And it's been great. I've actually had friends of mine that have started net new companies in the last 2 years that are already doing 8 figures. You starting off and helping people connect their pain of not having enough time with your ability to recruit and deliver on a great virtual assistant service is the key. And the cool part is it's already been done and it's a proven model. So here's how you build that agency and not mess it up. Number 1 is get paid on delivery. It's way easier to sell if you can say, I will only charge you the moment the person starts creating value for you as a business. Number 2, guarantee placement. Most recruiters that help people connect, especially virtual assistant, offer a 2-month guarantee minimum. And if the person doesn't work out within that time frame, you find them somebody else at no extra fee. And that creates that viral word of mouth that you need to grow that agency. Number 3, send them a copy of my book, Buy Back Your Time. Now, I know this is a bit of a plug, but let me tell you why. All of my friends use my book to promote their agency, especially to their marketing funnel. So if they have somebody on the fence and they're like, yeah, I think I should hire somebody, but I don't even know what I'd give them, they send them my book as a gift to get that person focused on valuing their time and understanding what they would give up to get more time to do the thing that makes them the most money. Which brings us...
Speaking of gifts and a plug, for those of you who are looking at some of these businesses and going, I don't know, but I'm open-minded to some other stuff. I created a PDF documented breakdown called the 5 low-cost franchises that all make $1 million. The cool thing about franchises is they all have the standardized legal document where if they're going to say how much money their franchise owners are making, they have to put it in that document legally. And so what we've done is we put together a list of 5 franchises that are lower cost ones and that all have a track record showing that they have franchise owners making $1 million. So there will be a link below where you can grab it for free, or you could go to franchiseempire.com/low cost and go ahead and grab it. In terms of my thoughts on the overall virtual assistant placement, I think this is huge. I've seen a lot of companies that are doing this now, but guys, this is a huge opportunity. I mean, we're getting ready to hire another virtual assistant that specifically has skill sets in building out workflows and different tech in HubSpot. And so I'll tell you what, it's a lengthy process. It's a huge pain point for us business owners to find virtual assistants that especially that have specific areas of expertise, because you just kind of never know what you're going to get. A lot of times these individuals are international, and it's just there could be a lot of turnover with it. So to go through an agency and pay, some of a markup on the actual labor cost, to know that you have an organization that's doing the vetting process, that's finding the talent pool, that's vetting them and putting them through a process and weeding out all of those people, it saves you all of that time of doing that. And then if something goes wrong, they have other people on the back burner that they can help replace and fill the role in. Actually, I pretty much just convinced myself that we need to use a placement agency for this next hire, because we're getting ready to do it all on our own. So proof in the pudding there. That's probably a pretty solid business, although there's likely a lot of competition. And at the end of the day, all of these businesses, here's the thing, guys, and here's a hot take, and we'll wrap the video on this and maybe do a part 2. Is that you don't need more business ideas. You probably have a million business ideas. You probably watch 10 videos like this. You probably watch Cody Sanchez and Dan Martell and Upflip and my channel, right? And you just got to execute. You got to pull the trigger on something, figure out what's going to work for you, and when it gets hard, don't quit. Expect that it's going to get hard. Expect that you're going to want to give up. I had 9 failed businesses before I bought my franchise, and then did $470,000 in sales that first year, and then produced millions of dollars in revenue, and now have started Franchise Empire years ago now, and have done millions of dollars of revenue in this business. So start somewhere. And wherever you start today doesn't necessarily mean that's where you're going to be 5 years from now, the business that you're going to be involved in. But stick with one thing. Get momentum. Be willing to stick it through the tough times, right? And so in this video right here, I talk about some of the tough times that I've had in business, especially having a month of losing $50,000. You're going to want to hear the story. It's really a vulnerable video, and just peeling back the curtain into my business and the process of growing it. And so if you're someone that wants to be an entrepreneur, or you're currently growing a business, I think you might get a lot of value out of it. So don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I'll see you on the next one.